One, two. Okay, everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, shortly. Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, Everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, everyone. Hello. We will start shortly. But before we start, you can find some beverage behind you. So don't be shy. Take everything you want. And yeah, we will start. Okay, everyone. Hello.
Yeah.
We will start shortly. But before we start, you can
Hi everyone.
find
Once
some
again,
beverage behind you. So don't be
I hope
shy.
you find
Take
comfortable chair
everything you
because this
want.
is gonna be
And yeah, we will
long
start. Okay,
and
everyone.
exhausting
Hello.
discussion. So
We will start shortly.
sit
But before we
tight.
start, you
Yeah,
can
exactly. A lot of hi everyone.
find some
So
beverage
sit tight,
behind
please
you.
enjoy.
So don't be
I
shy.
hope you find
Take
comfortable chair
everything
because
you
this
want.
is gonna be
And
Techfellows
yeah, we will
long
start. Okay,
and
everyone.
exhausting
Hello.
discussion. So
We
This
will
summer we
we
had
will start
maybe a
shortly.
few times
sit
a
tight.
lunch with
Yeah,
Jakub
exactly. A lot of
Hi,
everyone.
discuss
find some
So
beverage
sit
about
tight,
our
behind
please
you.
teams,
enjoy.
about
So
how we
don't be
I
work,
hope
shy.
you
what we
find
do,
Take
comfortable
Slido and
chair
everything
because
you
Surglog.
this is
want.
gonna
And
be
we
And yeah, we will start.
decided that
Okay,
this
everyone.
could
long
be
and
Hello.
also
discussion.
interesting
So
for this summer. We had
We will
another
start
people,
shortly.
maybe a few times
sit
a
tight.
lunch with
Yeah,
Jirka
exactly. A lot of
Hi,
to
everyone.
discuss
Find some
about
beverage
our
behind you.
teams,
enjoy.
about
So
how we
don't be
I
work,
hope
shy.
you
what we do,
find
Take
Slido
comfortable
and
chair
everything
because
you
Surglog.
this
want.
is gonna
And
be
we
And
long
yeah,
also
we will
decided
start.
that
okay,
this
everyone.
could
So
be
yeah,
also
discussion.
interesting
So
for this
this
summer.
summer
We
We
had
will
another
start
people,
shortly.
maybe a few times
sit
a
tight.
lunch with
Yeah,
Jirka
exactly. A lot of
to
everyone.
discuss
So
about
sit
our
tight, please
teams,
enjoy.
about how we
I
work,
hope you
what we
find
do,
comfortable
Slido and
chair
Surglog.
because this is
I don't
gonna
know,
be
but also decided
okay,
that
everyone.
this could
So
be
yeah,
also
discussion.
interesting
So
for this summer. We had another people, maybe a few times
sit
a
tight.
lunch with
Yeah,
Jirka
exactly. A lot of everyone.
discuss
want to share
about our
what
teams,
we
about
learned,
how we
but
work,
also
what we do, Slido and
want to give
Surglog. I don't know, but also decided that
Okay,
this
everyone.
could be also interesting for
this
this
kind of
summer. We had another
scenarios
people,
if you guys
maybe a
were
few times a lunch with Jirka
just
discuss
want to share
about our
what
teams,
we
about
learned,
how we
but
work,
also
what we do, Slido and
want to give
Surglog. I don't know, but also decided that
Okay,
this
everyone.
could be also interesting for
this
this
kind of
summer. We had another
scenarios
people,
if you guys
maybe
were
a few times a lunch with Jirka
just
discuss
want to share
about our
what
teams,
we
about
learned,
how we
but
work,
also
what we do, Slido and
want to give
Surglog. I don't know,
Hi.
but also decided that
Okay, everyone.
this could be also interesting for this summer. We had another
And
people,
I am very excited to have you here tonight.
just want to share what we learned, but
Okay,
also
so
want to
this is
give
I don't know,
hi.
but also decided that
Okay,
this could be also interesting for this summer. We had another
and
people,
I am very excited to have you here tonight. And
just want to share what we
these
learned,
days.
but
Okay,
also
so
want to
this is
give
I don't know,
and okay,
for this summer. We had another
and
people,
I am very excited to have you here tonight.
just want to share
I guess
what
these
we
days.
learned, but
Okay,
also
so this is
I don't know,
and okay,
for this summer. We had another
and
people,
I am very excited to have you here tonight.
just want to
So
share
I mentioned like all these days, but okay, so this is
I don't know,
and okay, and I am very excited to have you here tonight.
just want to
So
share
I mentioned like all these days, but okay, so this is CEO co-founder of Techfellows Meetup. So I mentioned like all these days, Slido, CEO, personal Jašák, CTO, co-founder of Techfellows Meetup. And I mentioned like that Slido, there is CEO, personal Jašák, CTO, and co-founder of Techfellows. everything. I mentioned start with Slido. I mentioned that there is another IPC or personal Slido and co-founder of Techfellows. I mentioned start with Slido. I mentioned that there is another IPC or personal Slido and co-founder of Techfellows. I mentioned start with Slido. I mentioned that there is another IPC or personal Slido and co-founder of Techfellows. I mentioned start with Slido. I mentioned that there is another IPC or personal Slido and co-founder of Techfellows. I mentioned start with Slido. I mentioned that there is another IPC or personal Slido and co-founder of Techfellows. I mentioned start with Slido. I mentioned that there is another IPC or personal
engineering the engagement and continuing them of any of the teams in my company, and I see really the engagement important for me and continuing them of any of the happier teams in my company, and I see engagement and two-thirds of too many surveys in my company. It's not so bad. It's not so bad.
I see there maybe similarity between relationship. So engaged. So I think you
it's not so bad.
I see there very like maybe likely similarity that person is happy because there is engagement. So if there is you see some engagement is getting down, so there is probably some problem. So engagement from my point of view.
Okay, but what can you give us the example of what you do with the people if you can see there is not such a engagement which you expected from them
between relationship?
Actually, it's
so from person to person. I think you
it's not so bad.
discuss things. If it's a more like someone who will not say that at first, so you have to try to reach also his her peers and
okay
try to find out what is the problem, also observe Slack. Definitely maybe join some meetings and see where the problem can be. So it's not so easy. With extrovert, it's much harder to maybe manage to find out if they I see they're very maybe likely that person.
Yeah, like initially I wanted to comment on why Techfellows is a probably very useful thing. Is that I read a very nice quote before, and it was saying that
Is happy
confidence
there
in
is
IT
engagement.
decisions
So
comes
if
from two things.
you see
One
some
is
engagement
experience, and the other
is
one is
getting down,
stupidity.
so there is
So
probably some problem.
I hope
So
like we get some
engagement
experience
from
here,
my
and
point of
so we
view.
don't we can make a good decisions.
Can you give us the example of what you do with the people?
Regarding
if you can see
your
there
question,
is
I
not
think
such a
it's not really about like
which you
any
expected
concrete
from them.
actions you can
Between
do as a leader or
relationship.
as a company. It's more about like setting
Yeah,
to be supportive,
from person
to
to
give your
I think
employees
you
trust. Ever.
Okay.
And by that you build a trust and ownership in them to actually be able to work and be happy in your company. Like, and also there are different things you can do as a company, like buy them Macs if they want to. Like, don't force them to use Windows, like because no one wants to do that. And it's like you can do these perks, but they are secondary. Like, I think from my own point of view, like the main issue is to give them trust and ownership for those things they do and they build, so they can feel proud about what they are doing in their daily job, because they come to work every single day and they spend a lot of time there. So
okay, but giving a trust person to somebody is not easy. Maybe can you explain how do you give your employees, your direct reports, trust?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it takes some time, that's for sure. But the hiring process directly in our company is not easy. Like we tend to like talk to our future employees quite a lot before we hire them, and we make sure that we have a very good idea how they will behave, like what they do. So we try to be almost 100% sure when we hire someone. That's easier said than done when we are a very small company. Like Labyrinth Labs is not that big right now, but I think in Slido or Kiwi it's much harder. But for us, we know every single our employee, and we try to get to know them when they come and work with us every single day. So me as a leader, I have to make sure that I talk to everyone.
Okay.
And have a like one-on-one time with them and talk to them over the period of time, so they actually get to know each other and we actually build some trust together.
Yeah, okay. But maybe, Lubo, can you tell us what do you do when your team is much bigger, so you cannot have a one-to-one with everyone? So how do you give a trust? How do you build that culture?
It's simple and hard. So you putting your trust into the leaders who lead another leaders. So this is the thing. So you're trying to build the chain of leaders. So people who can do one-on-ones and make sure that people are happy. But there is one thing when I'm talking about the happiness. One guy told me 1 week ago that, Lubo, you cannot make people happy.
Okay.
You can make happy your pet or your dog, but not people. It's more complex. But what you can set the environment where the people could be happy themselves, so they can. Yeah, Adam, you are agree with me, and this is the thing. So you're trying to organize your company that way that people can have impact, and on the, in our case, on the product, because I think this is very important for people what we have, and that people can work with people they want to work with. So they are around people they really want to cooperate with. So I think this is very important for your, let's say, happiness, that you are really in the team with somebody who is who is your body, or somebody who is good in your measurement, and this helps you to to have this feeling of happiness in the company, if it is even possible. Your question was about the organization. So in our case, yeah, so we organize the team in small units. So it's, I don't know, 8 people. And usually the team is discovery and delivery part. So there is a product manager, there is a user researcher, there is a designer as a discovery part, and then there is a tech lead, and I don't know, 4 developers, front end, back end, full stack, whatever we need, and also tester in our case. So we believe in testers.
Yeah,
still.
That's good.
And so this team is about the 8 people, and tech lead is definitely responsible that the delivery part of the team is have everything what they need to make their happiness, because they are responsible for the happiness in the company, if it makes sense.
Yeah. There's actually a following question from the audience, and um, what do you do when the engineering happiness conflicts with business priorities, and is it possible to like somehow connect them? Maybe Martina, if you can.
Well, so why is it actually like conflicting? Because as I mentioned, these 3 important things. So one of them is purpose. So if we are united in for one purpose, and we all know what we do why we do, and it all makes sense to us, so this is the dream state, and this is how it should be, in my opinion. So then we wouldn't end up in this situation when the engineering happiness conflicts with the business priorities. So maybe but
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can rephrase that question. So what do you do in order to align the people so they know there is no conflict?
Yeah, so and this is the purpose of the engineering manager, to really communicate clearly the vision, the strategy, and how we all contribute to it. And but I was not saying, I was saying this is in a dream world, and I understand this question because I often lived in that environment where that question was on the table. So I think it's again on us, team leads, engineering managers, to make sure that there is no conflict, even if it seems to be from outside. Maybe I sense, for example, in the sentence hit about technical debt, about technical roadmap, and stuff like that. So to always try to align it and make it visible why we do A to support B to support business.
Okay, so everything comes down to communication, I guess.
And common vision and common purpose.
Okay. Maybe, Jakub.
Yeah, I can imagine one situation when it can happen, actually. But if you have this, like, if you communicate the same vision from the beginning, so it couldn't. So if your people trust your vision, so even if you want to prioritize something they don't agree with, so still it should be aligned with vision, and if they trust that vision, so they should align as well. But it can happen if you drastically pivot your vision. So in that case, for example, situation like a company is in a very difficult situation and takes a very hard decision to drastically pivot. So I can imagine that some people can be unhappy with that because previously they joined the company because they trust the previous vision. So in that situation, maybe it can happen.
Are you saying you had to cope with this kind of situation?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
Yeah, I just thought out of the box that it can happen.
All right. Madam Yen.
Yeah, so for us, because we don't really have a product, we are a service-based company still. For us, it actually happened before. Like, what happened was that we had a customer, which was a nice company, but the culture in there was really bad. Like, they were always arguing, bad decisions. No one was actually really able to make any decision. And we, as a third party, we came there, we built their infrastructure, but we couldn't actually get anything done really because it was really hard to move any stone and to get agreement with anyone. And even if they were a nice new startup who had money and we worked very well together, like we decided that this is really bad for our people. And it's good for our business, but it's really good for our people and our culture. And we can come to our employees and tell them like, we really care about you, but you're gonna work this shitty job forever now. And we said, okay, doesn't work, and we actually quit that customer.
Okay.
And it was a hard decision, and we actually had to do it. But in the long run, I think this is what really builds the trust with your employees.
So you prioritize your team over the business value?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe not, because maybe in your vision wasn't to build a company which like work for, let's say, bad companies. So maybe in your vision it was to work like with innovative companies and provide innovative solutions. So there was still alignment, I think, with your vision when you decided to not go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like not challenging the vision and alignment there. I'm just saying is that it was bad for business, like because we are losing
for business, yes, but not for business like long term. And for
absolutely. That's why we did it.
Yeah, it's a great decision.
To be honest, in our case, I think we sometimes sacrifice the engineering happiness for some business reasons. So for example, we need to do quick experiment, and we know that code is shitty and we shouldn't do it this way.
Okay.
We know it, and important thing is that we acknowledge it. Okay, we know that we are doing it shitty way and we are not happy with the solution.
Yeah.
But the happiness is connected with the hope. If there isn't a hope that this short-term solution will stay forever, we are unhappy. But if we have the, let's say, negotiation or some agreement, okay, if this experiment will be successful, then we will do it correct way. I think with this with this vision, we can negotiate and we can say that okay, this sacrifice makes sense. But I have to say, in many cases, we sometimes sacrifice some happiness because we need to do. Yeah, usually it's about let's say shitty code. I don't need to repeat it.
And maybe the following question, Lubo, how do you communicate this kind of like, let's say, shitty period where you have to do experiment? How do you communicate to the people? Everyone knows that this is experiment, it's gonna end very soon, or maybe what's your tips on that?
The first thing is it is usually not very soon. Sometimes because the it's temporary. Yeah, you have temporary thing in product for 2-3 years, and they are still there. I still, but to answer your question, each experiment needs some time. So you definitely it's not 1 or 2 days. Usually it could be weeks and months, and you need to understand that because you need to collect some data from the experiment. Because without the data you cannot do the decision and so on and so on. But what needs to be communicated, this is experiment. This is not production code, and we know it. And this is what team, and it's team decision. So it's not the management decision that you should do it this way or that way, but it's team decisions. They understand the business need, they understand why they do it, and they are, let's say, okay with doing it this way because they want to have the impact. In our case, Slido people wants to have the impact. It's very important for them, and therefore they can do these trade-offs. So, but it must be clearly communicated also outside the team. Okay, when you do code review, you know that this code is not good, and everybody needs to understand it. That we know.
Okay.
And everybody should know in let's say in teams.
Actually, it happened also, and sometimes happens in our company. What we did or what we do in these cases, in one hand, we provide maybe or prioritize some shitty solution or experiment, but then after that, I always try to advocate for the team and maybe schedule some 1 week, 2 week technical depth or something like that.
Okay.
To improve mood the team and also stabilize things. So we we never underestimate technical debt, and I think that guys know that, and they always trust us when we decide to deliver some shitty experiment. They know that there will be some time for them to stabilize, to fix, and to also provide some time for them to make them more confident about their work.
Okay. Maybe Martina, can you tell us how do you cope with the technical debt, and generally how do you approach this problem?
Yeah, it just rang my bell because this it's 2 weeks for sprint for tech debt fix is something I experienced in past as well. Yeah, it is a good thing to patch the situation, but not to fall into this as by default. So it should be part of every sprint of everything we do, because I know that it sounds I totally understand for you and Jakub that we promise that we will do it properly next after experiment turns out to be good and so on, but we all know many temporary solutions in production, so it's really a trap, and it's hard to not to fall into that trap. So it's really good to try to set our mindset to speed up leading time, cycle time, and invest everything. We will talk about developer advocacy for today. Invest everything what we can to lower the cycle time and lead time, and be able to do production-like features instead of quick experiment and promising teams. I know that it sounds like from the book, but like real world experience shows that it's hard to then catch up the train once we fall into this trap.
All right.
I definitely agree with you, but from time to time it happens. For example, in some special business cases, if there is like a very important customer or something like a very important conference, whatever. But I agree. You can do that on a daily basis because it's the way to help, definitely.
Okay, maybe Adam, you can tell us when you said you have no product. So what it actually means? You have to have a technical debt. How do you cope with that?
So generally, when I said we don't really have a product, what I meant is that we started as a service-based company. So we worked for different clients. We helped them with their infrastructure, and we are building the product along the way. But it's not really product. It's productivized service, I would call it that. So if we what I'm like where we actually generally look at the technical debt is a different angle, because mostly when we talk to our customers, they already have something in production, and usually they have a lot of product technical debt in there, and they usually really struggle with that, because a lot of technical debt means a lot of issues in production, outages. Your product is not stable, or your page doesn't really load a lot of times. So they struggle with that, and like what we usually try to help them with is we talk to them and try to figure out how to make sure that they can actually refactor their application very fast and get to a place where it's more stable and where they can actually work, and their customers doesn't really experience any issues, even if some of that technical debt stays behind. But for us, it's more like and we can see a problem there. Like when you have too much technical debt, it actually affects your team, because they get a lot of on call. They are up in the night all the time. So and that's what no one really wants to do. Like no one wants to have an on call at 2 a.m. in the morning. That's really bad.
But maybe what is the practical way of the approaching technical debt? What the refactoring actually mean? Does it mean like you will stop everything, you will do it just for 1 month and then you are happy, or you just continuously work on that? What does it mean in practical way?
So I think there are some proactive things you can do, and there are, and if you're already in a situation that you have a lot of technical debt, like that's something you can. It's in the same. If you have a mortgage, like it's very hard to pay it in one payment.
Yeah.
And you have to pay it over time. That's the only thing you can do. And if you don't really learn good habits during the payment period, once you paid your mortgage, you're gonna get a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens for the technical debt. If you take a 3 months off and just like solve every technical debt issue you have, but you don't really learn good habits to not really do the cuts, don't really do the shortcuts, hacks, and everything, then you will build the technical debt in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
So for us, it's helping our customers to build and have good habits with their code release, tests, CI/CD, making sure they understand what's behind, and then helping them to actually cut the sausage in small pieces and not eat it once, but in small pieces.
All right. Maybe talking about the good habits for dealing with the technical debt. Maybe Lubo, what are your tips?
Yeah, so if you would like to pay, so for example, 20% of time you use for maintenance, it's maybe it sounds okay, 20%. Wow, it's too much, but I think you have to use it. Even you don't have any bugs, even you don't have any problems, you have to use it to improve like investment. For example, in a situation that you have heavy tech debt, so you use 20% to just fix, upgrade the packages, I don't know, upgrade databases, do the maintenance. If you are in perfect state, everything fine, you use this 20% to invest. So you go even further. So you, for example, use new type of database, you invest in your architecture. I would say 20%, it's something like you paid all the time.
Yeah, I agree. We have the same rule. Usually on Friday, each team decide when, but usually on Friday, our teams they have like a technical debt work. So
okay, but maybe you have like this pile of the technical debt, but you have only 20% of the time to work on it. So maybe question is, how do you prioritize the technical debt itself?
I think this is something which is very good left on the developers themselves, because they most of the time know like what is bugging them most.
Yeah.
Like if you have an operations team at the house, they know like what's the problem and what needs to be solved. And if you have developers and they know that, I don't know, this class, this method breaks every single time, like it's 3,000 lines long and we have no idea what it's doing, and if we change this line, everything breaks all the time, then like you can really do it in one day to refactor that, but you can actually think about it for a day and then say, okay, like this is what we want to do, or do it over a certain period of time. But I think the technical debt maintenance is something which should be solely in team possession. So like the team itself should decide like what's the main issue we want to work on. Like it shouldn't be something product manager comes and tell you to do. Like you did this, you do that.
Yeah, exactly. You have to listen all the time. Your engineers. That's the key. I definitely agree. So
it comes down again to having trust with your developers.
But if it is, for example, heavy, also you can find a synergy with some business goals, because sometimes you can have, I don't know, we can fix this thing or another thing, and but if you know that thing B is connected with your business goals in next year, it's investment. So also this can help you to decide which way to go. But it's on engineers. I totally agree that this is the base.
Yeah, I just want to add that it also helps to set some standards or baseline. For I don't want to like give exact hints, but just to illustrate, like we will have like this level of coverage, this static code analysis tool, which gives as many rat errors, major issues. So to communicate that this matters for us, and it doesn't mean these two things, but your team will tell what does it mean, and communicate this clearly to everybody, to product as well, and say that like this is what we follow, and this is now dropping, or our number of incidents is raising, so we need to now stop and fix it and then continue.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can change it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have one funny story about that from
Okay.
a DevOps handbook and DevOps handbook book. It's actually a very good one. And there was a story about Nokia and about how the CEO of Nokia wanted to fix the problem with Nokia and didn't listen to engineers. So they like told him that there is problem with pipelines and delivery time is horrible. So when they wanted to really test something, so build time was something like more than 48 hours. And they all the time engineering manager was saying, okay, we need to fix that. We need to stop and take 3 months to fix pipelines. And the reaction of CEO was, okay, we need to hire more people. And it was, and we know what happened then. So
yeah, okay. Thank you. So maybe we can change the topic a little bit. Maybe Adam, you can tell us, are you a remote company? If so, how do you maintain like being good technical leader in a remote company?
I think that's something we are like all probably trying to solve. For us, it's like we are trying to meet every once in a while. We also, as a leadership team, try to visit our employees where they are staying. So once in a while, we go to their place. It's not only about inviting them to come to our office. So we ran the co-working place and we ask them to come work with us from, I don't know, Žilina, Košice, Brno, because that really shows them that we really care.
How often do you meet like this? Once in a while?
Because we have employees in different places, so for a single person it's not very often, but we do it like every month, but we go to different places.
So maybe just for the context, how many people do you have in your company?
Right now it's 17. We have a couple guys in Brno. We have one in Ostrava. 2 guys are in Žilina or in that area, and one is in Košice.
Okay, very nice. Maybe Martina, do you want to add something on this? No? No? Okay, no. Lubo, okay, take it away.
I have to say that I think we are learning how to do a remote good way. I cannot say that we master it, but what is important is to have more async things. Like I know this sounds stupid. More documentation, more transparency, more written form that everybody, because the problem is if there are some people in office, they talking to each other, there are some rumors, and people who are remote are feeling this FOMO that, okay, we are not there. And you need to somehow put things into the Slack, into the paper, into the Confluence, into the wiki, whatever you have Notion, that people have this information and they are in the loop. So this is for me important thing. And do more async stuff. So use tools like Slack, not like chat, but more async form, and so on and so on. So I see those are good tips how to make a remote better, because otherwise people who are remote, they feel that, okay, I'm working for this company, but maybe I can work for another one because it's the same. I do not feel different. So there must be something. And for me also, one-on-ones are very important to not skip it, have it with the people, talk and meet. For us, at least four times a year, it's a lot of money to make it happen. But I think it's very important, and we are negotiating with our finance. We are fighting that we can do it.
So do you agree that you can have very good technical leader even being 100% remote? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, I still believe that it is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I would add that we work remotely from the beginning, so 2016, so pretty long, and I think the most important thing is to hire the right people for that. People with ownership, leaders with ownership. It's very important. And activities and async is, I think, it's more about how to do remote, because from my point of view, what is more important than flexibility of place, flexibility of time is more important. From the very beginning, I always said to people, I don't care when you work. I don't care. Just provide results, be okay with your teammates, and I don't care. You want to go in the morning to the gym, you want to go for lunch with someone, you want to go to the doctor, whatever you want, I don't care. Just provide results, be okay with your teammates, and be responsible for all your steps. But you have to hire right people for that. You can just give that responsibility for his or her work just like that to anyone. It has to be like responsible people, someone who really understands what it means work remotely. It's not to laying on the couch and watching television, but it's being responsible for my work, but with that big advantage, of having my daily schedule in my hands. So yeah, so hire the right people is my answer how to.
Yeah, but it's very hard to hire right people.
Simple to say.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
yeah.
Maybe any tips on how to be hiring right people? How do you know they are right for this culture? And maybe there is a following question. Um when somebody left because they was not happy with the role, and what do you do in order to prevent this kind of situation from happening?
Yeah, so happened to me. I think to all of you. Yes, it happened to me. That's a question. So yes, obvious. It happened to me that the person was not happy, and we managed to figure it out. And it happened to me also that the person was not happy, and eventually they left. So there is no recipe, but listening, understanding what is the pain point, why this is not the right place. Is it a job? Is the job tedious? Do you want to do the switch of tech stack? Do you want to be in a different round of people, like among different people? You don't, the communication doesn't work. So it's really to understand that intrinsic motivation of that person and try to offer something. From my experience, we just discussed actually this topic before this discussion, so I know that Jakub has really good experience with this, with the success story. From my experience, even if I managed to find a different place or role for that person, eventually they decided to leave after some time anyway. So yep. But Jakub has a different story.
Yeah, I think it happens to all of us from time to time that someone is unhappy, and
Okay, but maybe can you prevent that to to happen, that somebody is gonna not be happy, you know?
I would provide the same answer. Listen carefully. It's very important. Like observe all signs
Yeah.
around that, and then to like try to fix rather sooner than later. I think. yeah, so and also always do one-on-ones. Be sure that all your line managers does one-on-ones with people. Try to do from time to time some surveys about that. Health checks in engineering team. It's also very important. And yeah, so observe all signs you can. Listen, and don't ignore like signs, because some introverts, um, there can be just a little signs that someone is unhappy, but one day a person come and say, okay, I quit because you didn't listen or you didn't observe.
Yeah, it's too late then.
And then it's too late.
Yeah, Lubo.
Maybe sometimes it's good to understand what's the problem, because you are unhappy if you see the problem and you don't know how to overcome it. But if me as a leader, I can help you to give you some tools, or I don't know, somehow empower you to solve your problems in your work, maybe also personal problems. It could be because we have also our personal demons.
Yeah, sure.
And we are not just, I am not Lubo in work and Lubo in home. I am the one person. If I have problems in home, it's also in the work. And what I would say that sometimes it's very good to ask also people how you imagine your work, because it's maybe the role is the problem, that it is not, the expectations are not fulfilled on both sides. For example, you as a manager are not happy, the employees or developer is not happy, but the expectations are not the same or aligned. So it's very good to align it. Okay, we are talking about the same thing, we are trying to achieve. And sometimes, yeah, you can just help, very quick help to be just switch the team or switch the, let's say, switch something, change the environment, and people see, okay, this started. We have few examples like this when people just change the team and suddenly a lot of things were solved because they find it, let's say, helpful. But sometimes we see that recently I had to tell that I cannot help sometimes, and I have to tell it, I cannot help you, I cannot solve this because it's not possible. We are, this is like it is, and you have to decide if you will be unhappy or maybe will be happy somewhere else, because it's not always bad thing that somebody is leaving the company. If somebody will be happy in another company because looking for some another, let's say, another things, it's better to say goodbye from my point of view than to suffer.
Yeah, that's, and maybe in that case you may create toxic people, and there is actually a question: how do you deal with the toxic people? If that happen, what you can do?
We let them go.
We'll let them go.
Yeah, yeah. Like we tell them, like, don't come at Monday, and that's it.
What email?
But no, like what I wanted to like maybe add something to what Lubo was saying is that sometimes when people are unhappy, and dealing with people is the hardest part. Like you cannot make them happy. You cannot like solve their issues, and maybe that's the like not a good position to be as a leader in. Like maybe the only thing you have to do is just talk to them and try to understand what's the point, and give them time and space to actually solve it itself. Like sometimes we, like once we had an employee who is really good, he was really happy with us, but he was like struggling in his personal life, and he hadn't had a long vacation in a while. And like he came to us and he said, like, guys, I probably want to quit. Like, I would like to take a long vacation and maybe think about something else in the future. And we told him, like, don't really, like, if you want to take a vacation or sabbatical, like, do it. Like, take 3 months off, and like we talk about that everything else after. And he was very happy with that. Like, he was extremely grateful that we let him stay, that we like didn't cut everything with him at that time and space. And he give he had a rest, he enjoyed himself, and when he came back he was like, okay guys, I want to stay here, I'm happy here, the work is really good, the projects are good, the technological stack is perfect, but I just wanted to like let it go for a while.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that first to Lubo's point that you can't always fix the problem. You know, sometimes people just want to grow faster than company, for example, or maybe they want to switch industry or something like that. So you can't fix that. So that's true, and I agree what Lubo said. Maybe it's better also for the company and also for a person to let him go or her go. And yeah, because we spend in work at least 1/3 of our life, so it's good to have happy people around you, and also I think it brings more value to the company, to the world in that way. And to Adam's point regarding personal life, some people say that, or it's very often in big corporations that managers there they don't ask about personal life, or it's like taboo. I don't agree with that. I think I know my people. I know a lot of things about them. When we played some game about us, I think we were very good at this, and it's very important. Lubo said he's the same person at home, same person at work, and it's very important. Sometimes it's enough just to say, okay, take vacation, or just maybe give some personal life advice or something like that. But it's very important to figure out where is the problem, and show that you understand the situation, or you try to understand the situation, and you want to help. That's very helpful for people, I think. Care about them, like not as a just a manager, as a job role, but care about them as a person, care about them as about people. I think that's very important.
So do you think engineering managers should develop this personal relation with the direct report, not just on the uh, company side, but also on the personal level?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, Martina?
Tell us more about that game.
Yeah, it's more for our HR team. They prepare some let's catch up games. Let's connect games on Zoom, also with our American colleagues and so on. So they were prepared some questions about us. We filled them for ourselves and also for our colleagues, compared, and other funny stuff they prepare for us. So I like that.
But how do you deal with the problem that maybe some people doesn't want to connect on this kind of online or even offline activities? What do you do about them? Because it doesn't mean they are not good, they don't want to create value for a company, but they are just don't want to attend this kind of activities.
Definitely don't force them. So maybe just ask line manager to discuss that. Try to motivate them, but don't force them. Sometimes there is something they are not in good mood, maybe personally or something like that. But yeah, try to motivate them in a positive way, like show them maybe some feedback from previous session, or share some photos if it's in-person action, or like a in-person event or something like that. But don't force them to be there. Like I think it's not a good way.
Okay. But maybe do you do online activities, offline activities? I think you said you do, but yeah, do you have this problem as well that some people doesn't want to attend them?
I wouldn't say that it's a problem. It's a choice, because some people are more introverts and they don't like this. For example, me, I don't like the games. If you say, "Hey, let's do some games," I would say, I don't want to do it. So I think it's definitely good to respect what people want to do and do not push them.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people in Slido who are very
playful.
Yeah, playful. There are a lot of activities, beer after work, every day. So you can have a lot of pleasure. You can play the games. You can do a lot of stuff. But some people choose just not to do it. They just prefer to read the book, for example, clean code or something. I don't know, something like this. So just respect it and maybe find the activities not for, I don't know, maybe also for them, try to be inclusive, but not very pushy. So this is how would I put it? But there is a good question. Maybe I can take it because I like it. What I don't like is this toxic label, because if somebody puts on you this label, Lubo, you are toxic. It's like it can go to my CV that I'm toxic, or what does it mean? That for me it means that because in September I had a very low point, and a few colleagues give me the feedback that Lubo, you are very pessimistic. You are not in good mood on the meeting. It's starting to affecting meetings and also your colleagues. What's the problem? How we can help you? And this was very great for me that I received the feedback. I receive what I'm doing, and I receive also hand. Okay, we can help you if you have problem. Nobody tells me, oh, we are toxic. We should fire you. And I think we should be very careful when we're using this word. We cannot label people with this. I don't like it, because if somebody tells you, Jakub, you are a toxic one, I honestly, I don't like it. I just want to tell Jakub, I don't know, last week you were very pessimistic. Your mood was very shaky. Your attendance on the meetings was, I don't know, you came late. What's the problem? How can I help you? What's going on? Tell me. This is how we should approach and stop all these rumors and kitchen talks about the Jakub. What's with Jakub? You know.
But maybe Jakub doesn't realize the fact that his mood is not very.
Exactly. This is what the point I wanted to make. That it happened to me a couple of times that the person like was perceived by others as toxic, but he or she was not aware of it actually. So the important thing here is to be a mirror, like not just like on one, for example, not to say you are toxic, but I noticed during that meeting, for example, you snapped out or you said something and it was not perceived like you probably really to be a mirror and to that person and show that behavior through eyes of others. So this I think we are obliged to do actually to anybody, not like to reports, but to anybody, to our leaders, to our peers, to anybody.
So do you actually saying that if somebody is very negative, you should be negative to him as well?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what mirrors do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you have something on your I don't know on your face and you look to a mirror, you notice it. So this is how I wanted to explain. So make sure that the person notices and is aware and understands, like sees himself actually or herself.
Thank you.
I would like to maybe comment on that. For me, I'm a huge fan of candid feedback. Like, to be honest with the person you talk to, and if you want to give him a feedback, then you give him straight away, and you go straight to it, not like around the bushes, and like maybe he will figure out what I mean. Like maybe he will know.
It's tricky, but
yeah.
And
the other thing is that the things you described, that's not really a toxic employee. And I've been in teams and during my career where there were actually toxic people, like someone who is always yelling and who is like forcing others to do by his will and but his personality, and not by like choosing things he likes, not which are better for the product or team. And I think that's something which is toxic, and you as a leader should always try to look for that and deal with that as soon as possible. It's not that he's unhappy or he whatever deals with something else. there are different personalities, there are different people around the world, and you should try to find and building a team is like a question of finding the right people, and people like that, they are not really a team players.
So Adam, if you have such a person, what do you do actually? Do you try to change him, her, or just you know that this won't work and you stop the suffering as soon as possible?
Yeah, like usually I don't believe that people can change very much. Like it's very hard for them to do. So we try to talk to them, and if it doesn't work after a while, like it's better for everyone to solve the situation, maybe in a short time in a painful way, but everyone will be happy. Like people who can't really work in a team might be much more happier in a freelance position where they work on their own. They don't really have any team around, and they can make their own decisions and as a consultant or something. So it's just about making them realize that this is not how you should behave, and if you do, like it's probably better for everyone for you to go. And like very often I like look at the sports analogies. Like some players are not really a team players. Like if you ever played any team sport, like you know that some people like to keep the ball in their hands or in on themselves and never really pass it away, and that's not a team player. And if you are building a team, like that's a necessary.
Does it answer your question?
And I just want to comment on the candidate feedback. There is it's called rapid candidate. The I don't know whether you know it, but this was sort of eye-opening for me how to actually give such a feedback. So I don't know, look it up if you are interested. It's
so how is it called? Just if you can repeat
I think it's called rapid candidate.
Rapid candidate. Okay.
I hope I didn't miss that. But it's really nice. It explains that to provide the context and example, how to what it led and so on. So I just as an inspiration because it really changed my attitude.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to add to all of you something that yeah, be careful about placing a toxic label on someone. And as Adam said, it's very often it's about different personalities. So like someone says something, on the other side, someone is like, "What the heck? He's toxic." But that guy who said that, he even that doesn't know that he said something wrong. So we tried to do 16 personalities game in our team. So then we like read like description of our personalities, and then we figure it out. Like, oh, I see now, and now I understand how that person actually think. We had also some discussions about that on one-on-one meeting and so on. And I think it works right now because we had some really hard stuff in the past, and actually primarily with the smartest people in the team. I like a quote from Jack Ma. He said that it's the hardest thing in his job is to like manage the smartest people in the company to work together, because stupid people will always work together, but they will provide nothing. so yeah, I think it's when you have smart people, doesn't matter if they are introverts, extro, whatever, but it's always really difficult to manage them to work together because there are many opinions, many insights, and so on, and you have to be like very careful that there is like a good mood and people communicate with each other with respect or with rules they all agreed on. So that's very important. If they are like more open to communicate, let's say, in not very nice way. So and they are okay with that. So who cares? But if there are someone who suffer because of that, so you have to care about that and try to manage that.
So how did the 16 personalities, like knowing the personality of your peers, help you actually? I'm interested in this. Or did you do some action, or did you restructure the team based on personal? How actually in practice did this help?
No, we didn't restructure, but we sent that to all teammates and said learn like before you say that that person is bad or you can't work with him her or something like that. So learn more about him her first and then go directly to him her and discuss. That's the first step, very first step. If someone comes to me and say, "Oh, I have a problem with that guy because he said this," so I always say, did you first the first step? What is the first step? First step is go directly to him her and say, okay, you said this about on that meeting, and be very very precise when, where, what, and then if there is problem, okay, come to me and we can continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like we can go to the next question, but I just wanted to say one last thing is that like we talk about certain position of toxicity, like when the person is really like behaving in the wrong way. But there could be different types of toxicity. Like probably everyone or had in their previous career or jobs someone who, like a colleague who wasn't very good at his job. Like this happen quite a lot in huge corporations where you can actually hide for a while and no one really knows that you are not doing anything. But in a certain way, this is toxic also because it builds a idea that you can go to work and not really build any value, not really help your teammates, and make things for them even worse. When you have a bad developer who makes mistakes all the time, like everyone is paying for that.
Yeah,
it's not just his fault. And so that's the other part of the toxicity you as a manager or leader should look for. Like that's something which is really bad and it affects everyone. And in a team where you have two or maybe even one of someone like that, and I'm not talking about junior developers who are just learning right now. I'm talking about someone who is just bad, and that's something you should probably look for.
Yeah, we could call it toxicity of not respecting values of the team, something like that. You meant, right? Like if you have like value hardworking and like fearless or blameless, something like that, and someone just doesn't respect that, is not hardworking and so on, so doesn't respect values, something like that.
Like for me, it's just more about it. He's just not that clever as everyone else around him. It's is that he's maybe slower. He doesn't really have a lot of experience, and maybe he was in corporations. It happens all the time. He was hired to a different position, and he was just like moved around and shuffled as a box somewhere, and he's just lost, and he don't want to learn, and he don't want to improve, and that's in a certain way it hurts everyone in the team.
Okay, I think our time is up. But before we will end this discussion, there is very one good question that when somebody's asking that developer advocacy is a very new term. So the question is, what is actually mean for you? What do you do in order to uh, have very good developer advocate, and yeah. Who wants to start? Lubo, take it away.
We do not have this role in the company that somebody is, so it's more on heads of leaders or managers or senior developers. But how I see it from my perspective, so the first thing is to help non-technical people understand the engineering world. So this is very important stuff to talk, to use some, let's say, metaphors. So for example, I don't know, when we are explaining technical debt, we cannot show the code. Look, this is crazy. You need to. So, for example, we are using some metaphors like we are building the roads, and then we need to maintain those roads. And if we have a lot of roads, we have to do a lot of maintenance, and something like this. So it's very simple and oversimplification, but it is like this. So you need to explain non-technical people what the hell we are doing and why the hell it's taking 2 months and so on and so on. This is one thing. It's towards to non-technical people, and towards the engineering. For me, it's about giving trust. So you trust people because some people think that trust is about you do something good and then I trust you. So it's like earning. For me, I trust you. I give you the, let's say, I encourage you to do your job, and with this setup, you can freely do your job because you know that your leader or manager or I don't know stakeholder is trusting what you are doing, and there are not stupid questions from my side. So this is another thing towards the developers. They should feel that Lubo trusting trust me. Lubo is not doing some activities to undermine my authorities or and what is important also in developers advocacy in outside the company. So if we have something, we are strong, we are good. So encourage to people to write about it, to go to the meetups, to talk about it. And this is, let's say, third level about the advocacy, that if you know that some people are good, to help them to share the thing around the world. So this is how I see this shortly.
Okay, maybe Martina, you wanna?
Yeah, that term is really like new, as you said, and it's obvious that different people understand it from different angles. And I see it somewhere between that role as a developer advocate is the person who is really hands-on tech, can code. On the other hand, it's that the job is also sort of marketing. It's about marketing, but what I would like to underline is that the developer advocate should feel the pain of developers, and not to jump on doing telling a lot of theoretical things. I would just illustrate it from my angle, my point of view, from my context. So one of the teams which is in my department in the data intelligence is a data platform team, and we noticed in past month that role, if even if we don't have a dedicated person with the role title developer advocate, is absolutely essential, because what we are actually doing is we are providing tools, like platform tools for others in company, so for other developers. So it's super important there is a person who feels the pain of developers, who understands their work, and on the other hand, and strives to make it easier, and understands like what is the issue, how can we somehow release the pain, how to release the cognitive load on developers, for example, and how to make that tooling better, and what tools to, for example, employ, and how to streamline everything. So from this very particular angle of platform and developers who are using some platform products, I see this role super like important in a company.
So do you think that developer advocate should be actually somebody from developers, or it should be somebody?
It's totally a mix. So it's a person who is hands-on, who is on the other hand is a person who can step out and talk on meetups, who can go public, not be shy, not be afraid, and as well has I would say sort of some something from marketer or product manager, however to call it, to bring this flavor in the job as well.
All right, thank you. Jakub, you want to add?
From my point of view, I agree with both of you. I would add that that person should also think about continuous improvement and be someone who helps the team to grow, developers to grow, find a way how to grow in specific constraints. So be all the time supportive, share information, also business information, knowledge information. Yeah, definitely should be engineer, someone who can step in and help, and yeah, and also someone who think out of the box. So someone who leads like changes or suggests solutions in cases that when developers are struggles. So yeah, someone like this, but should be more, I think, more communicative person, someone who can really communicate externally and internally very easily. So when there is some problem or want to find maybe some benefits for the team, for developers, and so on. So also should know how to communicate with upper level of management and so on.
Okay, and maybe the following question: do you think it should be somebody from outside world, or it should be always somebody from internal team? In other words, do you think you can hire good dev real person, or it should be somebody internal?
To be honest, like I don't really know. Like in our company, like the people who actually at least partially do this work, they like themselves grown to that role, like over time, like they been given more responsibility and they like continuously improved and maybe become sort of a developer advocate. But
Okay.
to be honest, I had to Google the term and look up like what it actually means before this meeting, and I think generally it's really hard to do that from outside, like because you had to bring a lot of like knowledge, and most of that, like most of the pain, it's something you have to like actually live through. You have to know that this part of the our application is really bad, or this service really breaks often. And if you don't really know that, then developer advocacy became just like we have to do CI/CD, and we have to have tests, and we have to do unit tests, and like why we are not doing blue green and canary deployments and infrastructure as a code, and you are just yelling the terms, and then you say Kubernetes and everything is fine. But you have to actually understand the issues your team really has. And on the other side, I think we were describing a unicorn, because someone who can actually code, understands a lot of tools, and can communicate to business and management people that what's going on. That's really a tough job. But let's find them.
Okay, do you want to? Yeah, Martina.
Sorry, I sorry for this advertisement, but we are actually organizing DevRelCon conference this year in Prague. So go and check that out.
Thank you so much.
Maybe I would add that be really hands-on. It's very important, because I see in a few blockchain advocates on some conferences, they have no clue about the technology. It was pure joke, pure marketing bullshit, and it was shame. You cannot name yourself blockchain or developer advocate if you really don't code it and understand the technology. For example, this is my 2 cents. That really developer advocate needs to be developer. That's the point.
Okay. Thank you. I think, yeah, our time is up. We can wrap it up. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, our panelists, for be brave and answering all the questions. I really enjoy it. I hope everyone else did as well. So you are welcome to stay for a while, enjoy the beverage and food. I think pizza is coming, or maybe already here, I don't know, but go check it out. And yeah, hopefully see you at another Techfellows Meetup. Thank you.
Yeah, follow us. Follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll be informed. Thank you very much for coming.